Hello everyone, welcome back once again on e-commerce technologies. We have already discussed about different types of security breaches. Now we are going to talk about cyber vandalism. So cyber vandals are the individual who damages the information infrastructures purely for their own enjoyment and pleasure. Their primary motivation is not financial. It is the desire to prove that the feat could be accomplished. Once inside, they leave their mark, so there is no denying their presence. A data breach is a security incident in which sensitive, protected, or confidential data is copied, transmitted, viewed, stolen, or used by an individual unauthorized to do so. We also know about credit card fraud and theft that hackers target merchant servers use data to establish credit under false identities. Then we have spoofing. A spoofing attack is a situation in which one person or program successfully masquerades as another by falsifying data, thereby gaining an illegitimate advantage. Then we have farming. It is a form of online fraud very similar to phishing, as farmers rely upon the same bogus website and theft of confidential information. Then we have spam and junk websites. People go to those websites, they get false information, everything is false, but because they are advertised on your web page that you are viewing, so you just click on it, or they are sometimes associated on a web page. You go on a web page, it will take you to those web pages. Then we have denial of service. It is hackers flood websites with useless traffic to overwhelm the network and choke the bandwidth. We have another type that is called distributed denial of service, which occurs when multiple systems flood the bandwidth or resources of a targeted system, usually one or more web servers. Such an attack is often the result of multiple compromised systems, for example, a botnet flooding the targeted system with traffic. Then we have sniffing. Sniffing is normally known as eavesdropping program that monitors information traveling over the network, and you don't know whoever is listening to that conversation that you are having with you and your merchant website. Then the other threat is the insider job. If the person working in the organization is not happy, he can sell out all the information to the outside world. Purely designed server and client software can result into security breach. Social network security. These are the so-called the biggest debate nowadays, because everyone are online or on social media. Over there, people doesn't take care of their information, so they end up having identity stolen, getting their computer or social profile hacked, inadvertently letting stalkers finding you, letting burglars know your whereabouts. While, for example, like nowadays, people are sending information over the Facebook where they are eating, where they are going. So giving each and every information to an outside world about you. Then we have mobile platform threats, same risk as any internet devices. You can have malware, botnet, smishing, phishing software over your mobile phone, which can send information to another computer or any other mobile phone. So the technologies and the solution. So if you want to protect your internet communication, you need to have an encryption. For securing channels for communication, you need to have secure socket layer or virtual private networks. To Protect your network, you need firewalls or proxies. The ultimate thing is you need to protect your client as well as your servers in order to have a good e-commerce website. For these, to achieve these tasks, you need to have some tools. So you need to have encryption, network security protocol, virtual private network, tunneling. These can be an optional tools that you can use. So in the middle layer, you need to have a firewall, security management, proxy agent or any agent systems, security tools. In that you have access control, authentication, intruder detection, and so on. Okay, so when we talk about encryption, encryption transforms data into ciphertext readable only by sender and receiver. It secures the stored information and information transmission. It provides 4 to 6 key dimensions of e-commerce security, that is message integrity, non-repudiation, authentication, and confidentiality. So let's look at the types of encryption. First we talk about the symmetric key encryption. Sender and receiver use same digital key to encrypt and decrypt messages. Require different set of keys for each transaction. The length of encryption is of binary length, and the most commonly used symmetric key encryption is advanced encryption standard, that is called AES, which is widely used as a symmetric key encryption, which uses 128 to 192 or sometimes 256-bit encryption key. Other standards can go up till 2048 bits. The higher the encryption bit keys, less possibility to crack that in less time. In this public key encryption, it uses two mathematically related digital keys. First is called public key, that is widely disseminated, and the private key, that is kept secret by the owner. Both keys used to encrypt and decrypt messages. Once key used to encrypt message, same key cannot be used to decrypt message. Similarly, sender uses recipient keys to encrypt message. Recipient uses private key to decrypt it. So let us look at this example. In this, the sender creates a digital message. Then the sender obtains the recipient's public key from the public directory and applies it to the message. Application of the recipient key produces an encrypted ciphertext message. The encrypted message is sent over the internet, and at the end, the recipient uses his or her private key to decrypt this message. So when we talk about as a description, the message could be a document, a spreadsheet, or any digital object. So public key are distributed widely and can be obtained from recipients directly. Once encrypted using the public key, the message cannot be reverse engineered or unencrypted using the same public key. So the process is irreversible. The encrypted message is broken into packets and sent through several different pathways, making the interception of the entire message difficult, but not impossible. The only person who can decrypt the message is the person who has the possession of the recipient's private key. Hopefully that person is a legitimate recipient of that message. But that doesn't solve our problem, because still you have the possibility that a person can access to that information and those keys, and the recipient is not the intended one. So for that, in a public key encryption uses digital signature and hash digest function. So hash function is a mathematical algorithm that produces fixed length number called message or hash digest. It is Therefore, the message sent to a recipient along with the message to verify the integrity of the message. Hash, digest, and message encrypted with recipient's public key. Entire ciphertext then encrypted with recipient's private key, creating digital signature for authenticity and non-repudiation. Let's look at the example. The sender creates an original message. Then the sender applies a hash function producing a 128-bit hash result. The sender encrypts the message and hash result using the recipient's public key. The sender encrypts the result again using his or her private key. The result of this double encryption is sent over the internet. The receiver uses the sender public key to authenticate the message, and the receiver uses his or her private key to decrypt the hash function of the original message. The receiver checks to ensure the original message and the hash function result to conform to another. So the message can be any digital file. Hash function create a unique digest of the message based on the message contents. This irreversible process creates a ciphertext that can be read only by the recipient using his or her private key. The sender private key is a digital signature. This is only one person who can create this digital mark. The message traverses the internet as a series of independent packets. Only one person can send this message, namely the sender. The hash function is used to check the original message. This ensures the message was not changed in transit. So if you look at the previous encryption as compared to the hash function, what has been done, it is encrypted twice. Over there it was encrypted once, so it can be decrypted easily by spoofing the sender. In this, it is a bit difficult to do that. Then there were some lackings with the hash function as well. So another technique was given that to enhance or to strengthen the public key encryption was computationally it is slow. It decreased transmission speed, increased the processing time. When the use of symmetric key encryption, it is normally insecure transmission line. So uses symmetric key encryption to encrypt document and uses public key encryption to encrypt and send symmetric key. So the person sending a message in the digital envelope must randomly select a symmetric algorithm session key, and then it encrypts that session key by using the recipient's public key and a asymmetric algorithm. The sender encrypts the message body that is the plain text with the original unencrypted symmetric session key, and then sends the encrypted session key and encrypted message body, which is the ciphertext, to the recipient. The recipient of the message must decrypt the session key using their own private key and then decrypt the result of the message using the recovered session key to obtain the original message body, which will be the plain text. Only the holder of the recipient's private key, hopefully only the recipient, can recover the session key and the original message. So if you now look at over here, the message was first used as using a hash function, then a recipient public key was used, then the sender private key, so it was giving too much overburden on the transmission. Over here, a symmetric key is encrypted with the recipient's public key, and then the message is transferred to over the internet. So the weaknesses that was there in the hash function, now they removed or they enhanced it by using the digital envelope. For having a digital certificate and public key infrastructure, okay, we'll be covering this in the next lecture.